啊啊啊啊啊！我确认一下声音是不是有什么问题？该播了，该播了。稍等一下啊，我确认。好的，那么各位朋友们，大家好，这里是天气小阿 Marco。然后今天给大家带来的是一款算是老游戏的重置版吧，就史丹利的预言，大家都应该听过对吧？一款非常 meta 系的，应该说是冒险类游戏还是怎么，反正就嗯，大概就这么，大概就这样。一款非常会经常会打破什么次元壁啊，什么这个那个的啊，非常一款 meta 类的游戏。好的，那么它在前段时间，应该是去年还是去年还是是去年上半年还是什么时候就出了一个重置版，应该说重置加强版，对，叫Ultra Deluxe。稍微等我一下，对，这个还其实这次直播中我们还有个目的，就我被一个18岁女孩缠上了，然后我现在我在想我要怎么摆脱她。稍微等我一下，我们马上开始。好的，结束了。那么我们就可以开始这款游戏了。好的，首先是设置我们的时间，这里如果你设置好的话是有彩蛋的，所以说我们来，我现在是日本时间，所以说我们走日本时间10:05。Great, you set an actual time and not just travel clock. For a minute there, I worried that you weren't taking all of this seriously, but you've proven me wrong. 他的意思就是说，我还以为你不会太过严谨，但你证实我是错的。当然，我也不知道10:05是不是真的有准确时间。我认为现在就12点钟啊，真不愧是你啊。Tell you what, let's use another slide to get the bottom of this. 他要再测试我们一遍。现在已经10:06了。confirm。You know, can I just say regular？ 完了，主播是文盲，主播原来是个文盲。Regardless of this accuracy of the clock, I'm having a great time adjusting these settings. 你知道，我想说， 好了，我们可以直接跳了，不管了。你说完了没？好的，我们进到这个游戏的主画面啊，我们先来调个语言好了。语言 ，English。Where is fucking Chinese? OK? Where is Chinese? 你这个游戏没有中文的吗？哎，你上完之后可是有中文的。好的，他真的没有中文。他这边有个跳，很好奇。我们来看看他到底都改了些什么东西。他这是说是加强版的。来喽！
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day.
哇，你天天就这么按钮，你不困的吗？
And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
你 happy 不 happy 我不知道，反正我
And
是一
then
点都
one
不
day,
happy。
something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
好的，在这一刻我们就可以开始动了。我们先来看一下这个房间，电脑，然后上面一个命令都没有。427，这种削笔刀，哇，好怀念哦！小学的时候我特别喜欢用这种小笔刀。文件，杯子，好像不能那个。他是让我们出去吗？现在几点？哇，都快10点了，哥，你该摸鱼了吧？来，如果这个时候我们点一下这个门，哎。
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go any way except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy. Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
好的，刚刚这个结局的意思呢，大概就是，我们把自己关在了这个小房间里，然后我们什么都不做，我们就单纯的等待。好的，然后这次我们就要出去冒险喽。我不小心把门关了，放我进去，放我进去。我们来，
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
所有员工都消失了。
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
他叫
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
他就是说，我们的同事全都失踪了，这什么情况？然后接下来我们就是要去 meeting room， 也就会议室去找线索。稍等一下。我们来观察一下。有电脑，这基本上就是在座的各位啊，在座的各位的一个休息一个办公场所。摸鱼，摸鱼。然后刚刚我们再去那边看一下，看到没有啊？这就是你各位啊。
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
他叫我们走左门，我们就听他的。
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
日程表。他们有个东西叫 Office Party， 好没有，先说一下，主播现在还马上就要去工作了，所以说我非常期待这个 Office Party 到底是个什么东西。别到时候这个 Office Party 是什么加班动员大会啊什么的啊，那我要烦死我了。然后 Pre-review or Weekly Review 一周回顾。Barber 的什么东西不知道。Ideas 大家一起想创意。Targets。看是不是有什么声音？Chips for not getting fired. Chocolates 少说话。我还没看完呢，干。How to solve 怎么和同事打好关系？操！我都没看完，你那个幻灯机在哪？这里是吧？你是吧？ 每个人都是独一无二的。基本上就是一些那个，像什么我不懂你们社畜是怎么想的，反正就我们一定能做到，就这种概念。然后我们，放我进啊！干，我要进去开会啊！你让我进去开会好不好？这是什么 ？Broom close， 杂物间。
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
他叫我们上楼。
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him?
哇，老板办公室
Was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him, and so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number.
这里有
2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
哈哈，你都告诉我了，我怎么不知道？2 8哦，不好意
Stanley
思，
just sat around twiddling, yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He
哇！
stepped into the newly opened passageway.
老板，你能不能把心用在工作上面？你少搞些这个什么地下设施。我相信你如果不搞这些地下设施，你公司的业绩肯定更高。
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. 吓死我了！ Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
他叫我们走精神控制中心，然后这旁边有个是出口，这出口我们可能要下个轮回再来看，所以说我们先。
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
然后是我们来看摄像头啊，都有些
Now the
谁？
monitors jumped to life.
哦
Their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building. Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen.
你看这老板一天天不做正事，在这里。
Monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
老板不做正事，在那偷窥员工。我们来看一下我们在哪里。427 427 427 427，哎，我们在那边，我们过去看一眼。我们在干嘛？有看到我们在干嘛吗？我们好像不在那边，对，我们是不在那边。
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
他说现在要我们做选择，我们是把这个精神控制给它开了，还是说给它关了？那我们这个轮回呢，我们做个好人，我们给它关了。然后我们来看一下有什么剧情。
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know.
看来我们是接触一个新世界。
Worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
他这个结局就是说，我们得到了解脱，然后我们走出了那个公司里面。 但那个结局怎么说呢？就是不知道你们知不知道一个叫叫什么来着？哦，传送门2的游戏。传送门1还是传送门2？它里面有个结局是，其实我们走出那个世界并不是真实的世界，可能是就那个旁白或者电脑或者什么的，制造出来一个虚假的世界。好的，现在我们开始我们第2轮回。
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
好的，我们先，它这边有个叫什么新内容，然后我们待会再来看吧。
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
然后我们一样是上楼。
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk.
他就是说我们太快了，然后旁白都没说完。
So he relaxed for a few moments with some calming new age music.
他说让我们先听一下那个古典乐，然后再让我们我们进那个地牢。啊，不是什么地牢，精神控制中心。
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
好的，一样的，我们坐电梯喽。说这种就 meta 系游戏，各位的话呢，我推荐一个游戏，就一个大陆产的游戏叫《艾希》，对，它就是说你可以去调戏旁白。然后那个艾希呢，它就是说你可以违背，你可以违背那个旁白的意思去做事，然后你可以触发一些不同结局这样。
Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
我们继续来看一下427，还是没人。好的。
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
来，我们又站在了这个能掌控我们命运的按钮面前。那上一个轮回我们是按了 off， 但是这次我们打开精神控制，按下去。什么情况？救命啊！
Stanley. I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation?
有地方可以跑吗？
Let's say 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stan?
哎，让我走，让我走啊！
You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you...
各位，
All right, I'm in a
那个你们还有1分20秒的时间。
Exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the
1分
machine, set you
15，
free.
我已经不愿再努力了，就这样吧。
Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next
你各位还有38秒钟，你们要怎么办呢？对吧？
Only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying.
啊，那看来我们暂停是没办法帮助我们解决问题。
This so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not?
啊，哎，1分40秒，1分47秒，谢谢你，
Doesn't grow on trees.
谢谢你，
Oh dear.
救我！
Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on
好，1
every
分
button in
25
this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones, or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley,
你笑屁笑！
you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along.
救命
It's
啊！
just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control.
我相信这个游戏，这个结局
I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count, or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in
跑
until the
啊
moment I say happily
救
ever
命啊！好了，我们又回到这个熟悉的房间。然后刚刚我们是被核弹给炸死了。稍等，我看一下， 我看一下直播间。那么，相信玩过这款游戏前作人呢，都知道，就那个地方呢是躲不开的。就你就算是冲到外面去按按钮，你进来的时候有看到外面有一堆按钮吗？对。然后你是可以按那些按钮，但是你按那些按钮是没有任何作用，你最后还是会被炸死。好的，那么接下来我们试一下
All of his co-workers were gone.
第三条路线。
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Okay, I think we all know the drill by now. Blah, blah, blah. Dark secrets, the keypad. Stanley pushes some buttons. Oh, hey, look, it's a new passageway. Kill surprise.
这次旁白都不让我们输密码了，因为我们走这条路就走了2次了，再输密码都没有任何的意义。
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
他这次还是叫我们去精神控制中心，但是我们看到这里有个大大的字写的 Escape， 那我们走一下 Escape。
Although this passageway had the word Escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death. The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
这时候我们都会看见后面看见是不是有什么东西跟着自己，看到没有？我们现在哪里？
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence.
我收个不好的消息，我们要被压死了。看到前面那个东西没有？
The real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
各位再见喽。
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated, as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
好的，看来我们是死了。嘿，这边没东西。
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
我们是来到了一个类似于，这应该是个博物馆。我们来看这里面有什么。
Every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance. death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
这是我们的办公室。然后这是这2个门，我们是走了这边，我们走了这边的路。啊，好大的办公室啊！这公司为什么这么有钱？自然化，这些应该都是照片吧？应该都是网上找的照片吧？档案柜。把电脑关下，关下，不要玩电脑，上班不要玩电脑，不要用电脑，好好上班啊！不要玩这种什么蜘蛛纸牌。他待会还会重新开的，我们就不管他了。他重新开了吗？没有。Maintenance room， 看来这是一个早期电梯房，打印机，哇，这种战区。Early in development, we designed an ending where Stanley would end up on a battlefield fighting aliens. The action game would become silent, sentence, and would wage war against them.他第一次就是说，我们有个早期的结局是，史丹利在战场上跟外星人对决，然后你就会看到这些，你看到这些非常有科技感的话，这就是他一个早期的结局。但是他后来说实在做不下去，就把它删了。让我们来看一下这些。Am I Stanley? Are you spying on me? I don't. Why? How? 就是这个游戏开发时候的一些故事。 休息室，我们如果走右边的话，我们也会去。这 cargo lift 一个货梯。The second bridge， 他说这里本来是会有一个货梯，然后来移动到下一个场景，但是它也被删了。说明早期它是删了不少东西的，一个设计过程。这是预告片，一个早期预告片。来，我们来看一下。早期预告片中，他就走这种恐怖风格。Escape menu。哎，我们刚刚是怎么？The office 办公室，办公室场景全都427、427、427。Stanley's office 有这么三种不同的款式。Game Design Mocha， 然后接下来都是一些杂物。我们去那边看一下。
Stanley pushed the big red button. Then he pushed the number 4.
这是旁白的声
Stood
音
on，the roof.
非常有磁性，我敢说非常有磁性，非常好听。这是我们刚来的那个地方，就那个精神控制中心，长椅。好的，那么各位朋友们，我们要去。Oh, look at these two.
How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another.
对，
How they both wish to be free.
他是说我们彼此想控，我们玩家嘛，我们是 Stanley 嘛，然后他说我们跟旁白，我们都想控制对方，都想拥有对方，然后都想获得自由，但就你想想都知道这个是不可能的，所以
Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice.
他叫我们跑，
Do choose it.
他叫我们退出游戏，
Time choose for you.
但是我们不能。好的，那么各位朋友，我们又死了一轮。稍等我一下。哎，各位好，我是史丹利，我们又复活了。
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
这个新内容的话呢，我们就等玩的差不多了以后，我们再来看这个新内容。这里什么情况？这里怎么就多出来一段？
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
就我刚刚看的那个什么，
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
就刚刚那个 tips 那个，就如何才能不被炒？用我的话呢，就是你只要工作干得好，你就不会炒，非常的简单。然后这个结局我们是要走下面来试试看。
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down?
确
Why
实
did，doors
我们看不到
close
哎。
automatically behind him wherever he went? And for
确
that
实。
matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real.
确
And
实，
at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming!
I'm dreaming.
This is all a dream.
This is all a dream.
What a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation.
开门，让
His
我出去，
co-workers weren't actually
让我出
He
去，
wasn't
好不
going to
好
lose？ his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything
对啊，
I'm
为什
doing
么？
and thinking? Now the voice was
各位，你们有
describing
头绪吗？
itself
为什么
being
我
considered by
脑子里会有个
Stanley,
声
who found
音
it
在叫我做
particularly
什么？
strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay. Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black. This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
所以刚刚那个结局意思就是，简单话来说就是我们疯了，然后我们死在了路上，然后这时候呢，就有个女人啊，跟我们应该是跟我们差不多的女人走过来看两眼，然后说这人哈哈，这人哈哈，我是真实的啊，我有自己的思维，然后。我这么说吧，他可能他就是下一个史丹利，他自己还不知道。其实他就是告诉我们，其实我们生活中其实都是史丹利，我们都想控制自己的思维，但是谁知道我们控不控得住呢？对吧？好的，又是一个轮回。
Just a step through this door, Stanley thought to himself, that's all I need. If I can make it through this door, I can make it through them all. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
好的，我们又上来。这次我们尝试一点不一样的东西，然后这是前作，大概大家也都知道的一个结局。所以说这一次他连密码都不让我输，就直接把门给我们开了，真贴心。
Here's the door.
大家知道刚刚发生了什么吗？对，玩过前作的应该很清楚。我们把旁白关在老板室里面，然后我们有充足的时间来探索这个顶层啊。我们来看一下老板的一些爱好，看看这个厕所旁边，哎呀，还有书柜，啊，不是那个床头柜。然后看一下有什么《时代》杂志和这是什么 Extreme Bathrooms， 极致的厕所啊，极致的厕所，不愧是你。Because the boss knows that what the boss says goes. If the boss suffer lose, then that's what boss choice。看不懂。然后这里有幅风景画，这应该也是照片。看镜子，哎，我们看不到我们人呢。哎，擦下镜子好不好？擦下镜子了。然后我们走下楼。然后我们看一下这个时候我们下楼的话，它这里门是关着的，我们进不去，我们只能往回走。我待会准备来试一下这个地方，这个杂物间，就是有旁白的时候来试一下杂物间。我回到了我们的427，然后大家看427的旁边的门开喽。就如果是玩过前作的各位，大概都知道，这是个什么结局？对，逃生舱。然后我们现在754，我们逃生站在760。为什么逃生还需要爬楼梯？这里不是有电梯吗？你用电梯载我上去不行吗？你抠门的。757。Escape pod launchway， 逃生舱的一个发射中心。 所以说我们坐上了那个逃生舱，然后不知道结局如何。我们应该是逃出去了。又是个美好的早晨。
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
我们来看一下杂物间。
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
我们就待在这里面，我们就不听你的，你要把我们
There
怎
was
样？
nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here.
我认为有哦。看这里多好是吧？你看这个
It
纸
was
箱，
baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet.
我没
He wasn't
sitting 的，我
even doing
standing。
anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA. Are you really still in the broom closet? Standing around doing nothing? Why? Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused.
你不需要什么 confuse， 没事的，我就在那边待一会儿而已。
You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me. Literally, this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever. I never would have thought to mention it.
我们来研究一下这个东西。
Maybe to you this is somehow its own branching path. Maybe when you go talk about this with your friends, you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favorite." I hope your friends find this concerning. Stanley was fat and ugly and really, really stupid. He probably only got the job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is.
确实。
That or with drug money. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
哦，所以你现在开始骂我们，对不对？
Well, I've come to a very definite conclusion about what's going on right now. You're dead. You got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here, when a physical malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed on the keyboard. Well, in a situation like this, the responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose.
他意思就是说，
Anyone who happens to be nearby, the person at this computer is dead. They
干
have fallen prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Please remove their corpse from the area and instruct another human to take their place, making sure they understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming, so that the irony and insightful commentary of this game is not lost on them. All right, when you've done that, just step out into the hallway.
那我也玩够了，算了。
Ah, second player. It's good to have you on board. I guarantee you can't do any worse than you too. Unbelievable. I'm at the mercy of an entire species of invalids. Perhaps there's a monkey nearby you can hand the controls to. A fish? Fungus? Look, you can hammer out the details. I'm not particularly picky. I'll just be waiting for when you're ready to pick up the story again.
然后这个时候我们重启一下游戏。
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Oh no,
Not
again. I won't be
again.
part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to be patient and wait for you to finish whatever it is you enjoy doing so much in this room. Please take your time.
那你说，那我现在就出去。然后这个时候我们再重启一下。
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
喂，你不要给我封门呐！你这样就不厚道了喂！干！
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Here's the door, just go.
好的，然后这个时候我们要玩一个Ultra Deluxe 一个新出的一个结局，就是我们要在这个电梯这里完成，就不停的按来按去，不停的按来按去，这样，然后我们就可以完成一个新的结局。
Whoops. Nope. Never mind. Stanley actually got back into the elevator and went back up. Silly me. Why did Stanley do that when he knew that it would just lead back to his boss's office? Well, that's a great question. I just can't wait to find out.
我们先退出去。
Here we are, Stanley. It's your boss's office. Exactly the way it was before you got onto the elevator. It's still just exactly what it is. What a decision you've made to come up here and look at the office again. This has fleshed out the plot of the story in new and fascinating ways I could have never anticipated. It's that keen eye for storytelling that you have, an incisive rapid fire of critical plot points, one after the other, weaving a rich tapestry of uncompromising narrative.
你不要吵。
I'm bolted to the edge of my seat.
不要影响我们。
Incredible. Now he's getting back into the elevator and going down again. Ladies and gentlemen, how does he keep coming up with all of this? Did you think we were going to go forward down the spooky corridor? No.
No.
It's time once again to go back up in the elevator. I can't even begin to grapple with what might be up there. Is it the boss's office again? Or what if it's the boss's office this time? The suspense is killing me.
我们要在这个电梯不停的按来按去。
Oh my god. It's the boss's office.
Ooh.
This absolutely changes everything for me. Give me a time out here for a minute while I process this. Okay, I'm ready. I'm prepared to embrace this stunning revelation and to move forward with... No, wait. No, I need more time to process.
你到底想怎么样啊？咚咚咚，咚咚咚咚咚咚。
All right. I have fully come to terms. Of course. Going back down in the elevator. How did I not anticipate it? I mean, sure, now it's obvious, but you have to understand that 30 seconds ago, this kind of thing had never been attempted before. I had no frame of reference to even anticipate it. That's just how revelatory Stanley's decision-making is. A breath of fresh air in a landscape of storytelling that has grown stale and repetitive.
Oh.
You know what? I've just thought of something. Hold on, let's stop for a moment. Don't you realize? It's the anticipation, Stanley. You and I, we have no way of knowing what will be at the top of this elevator. But the suspense, the agony of waiting and anticipating and having to guess, that's the real thrill. Oh, I simply don't want to let that feeling go. It's so precious, so fleeting. Why don't we take this elevator ride nice and slow? There we go. Isn't this so much more exciting? You know, Stanley, it seems like nowadays
So exciting.
the only thing that audiences want is to be shocked as loudly and frequently as possible. They want big, explosive moments flung right in their faces from the very moment that things get started. But where's the tension? Where's the trust in the audience to build a slow and nuanced appreciation for the story, the characters?
我被困在电梯里
Why
了
aren't we。given time to imagine the surprises? To have to think and to anticipate and then to marvel at the eventual reveal. This is storytelling, Stanley. What you and I are doing right now. This is the most exciting narrative to be developed in years. And it's really all because of you. You're the one who took this bold step of revisiting the exact same locations over and over. Truly, I mean it. This is unique and different. It's not like anything else out there. You see, I want stories that surprise me, Stanley. I want to have to think. I want to be engaged and not pandered to. We're being fed such unimaginative drivel all the time, and we all know it, which is why we're so starved for content that makes us feel sharp and vital and alive. That's why people like you so much, Stanley. Because you're not afraid to spit in the face of tradition. You're a role model, you know? People look up to you. Which is why... Oh, I didn't know when to spring this on you, but, well, I've gathered a little press conference for you. So that you can talk about your work and your storytelling and your life. Yes, I know you're not much for the public eye, but I thought it would especially mean a lot to the people who have been following you from the beginning. They really look up to you, Stanley. I don't know if you realize the impact you have on them. This is the kind of gesture that might leave a tremendous impact on them for the better. Oh, good, we're here.
你送我们来了什么地方？我劝你不要不识好歹，赶紧给我送回去。
Okay, the room where we're holding the press conference should be just around the corner here somewhere.
走红毯喽，走红毯喽！世界上最健康的人类。好，我们如何建的金字塔？去过火星的人。All eyes live on stage, Stanley， 就是我们，我们要上演讲台喽。World Peace Baby， 世界上最安详的小孩。
Yes, here it is, just through this door. 世界首台可以跟你进行 Q&A 的机体。 All right, are you ready? I've told them you're going to speak a little
好紧张，好紧张，好紧张。
surprise in storytelling and what it means to craft a truly
好紧张。
unpredictable narrative. Oh, don't
怎么办？
worry.
怎么办？
Do great. Just be yourself and speak from the heart. I'm really proud of you, Stanley.
我知道。
Okay, it
我
looks
走了
like they're ready
我
for
要
you.
走。
Go get them.
我不想那个，我可以不去吗？哇！好。哦。女士们、先生们，大家好，大家好，大家好，哎，你好，你好，你好。稍等一下，我把声音调低点。刚刚那个观众们的呼声太热烈，那个我耳朵都快聋了。哎，女士们、先生们，大家好，大家好，大家好，你好，你好，你好。哎，签名，哎，哎。好的，我们梦又醒了。我们依旧看不到我们的腿，脑子里依旧会有个声音，然后我们依旧不知道何去何从。好的，那么怎么说呢？今天我们玩了斯丹利的预言，然后我们是走了左边的门，我们把左边的门的那些路给它通了一通。那么下一次玩这个游戏呢，是开始我们就走右边的门。对，其实我玩过一遍前作，我觉得是右边的门要比左边的门更加的，应该说更有意思还是怎么？对，好的，那么今天就这样吧。我是天桥阿马口，我们下期再见，各位拜拜。好的，我退出了，结束喽。这是一款好游戏，对，它非常有寓意，所以我很期待下次继续玩啊。The Stanley Parable。OK， 那么